Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here. Welcome back to another video. There's another community update here from DICE. So just like last time, we're going to go and read through this one together. This time, it's about the beta. All the feedback they've gotten around the beta, what they're going to change, what they're going to act on. I haven't read this yet, so I am extremely excited to know like what have they actually taken to heart here, and what are they going to act on, which big pieces of feedback have they maybe disregarded, or they're just going to skirt around, because I kind of often find that there's a bit of good and a bit of bad in there. So we're going to get into all of this here. As always, if you guys enjoy the content on the channel, don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with everything Battlefield 6. I'm going to be covering all the news around this game, as well as guides and, well, pretty much you name it once it releases on October the 10th. So let's just jump straight in here. So this is called Battlefield 6 Community Update Open Beta Debrief. They say, hello everyone, thank you to everyone who joined us during the Battlefield 6 Open Beta weekends. Your passion and feedback have been invaluable, with tens of thousands connecting on Discord to play together, over 600,000 hours streamed, and over 30 million hours watched. Your enthusiasm and participation is what made it great. Initial learnings and in-game changes. Okay, as we approach the launch of Battlefield 6 on October 10th, we'd like to take a moment to look back at the recent open beta to share our key learnings and in-game changes we're making based on your feedback and in-game data. So now we get to the juicy stuff, guys. Okay, weapons. We are making targeted adjustments to deliver a more consistent and rewarding gunplay experience. This includes a general pass on recoil and tap-fire characteristics across all weapons, further emphasizing their unique feel and improving range differentiation. We've also made changes to encourage more controlled tap firing and burst firing, rewarding precision and weapon mastery. Additionally, the M87A1 shotgun now requires more pellets to secure a kill. We are investigating the time to kill and time to death experiences, and we will share an update if definitive changes are made in these areas. So those are good changes, I think. There, it's fair to say that most of the weapons, once you kitted them out correctly and you unlock the attachments, they were pretty laser beamy. I made a couple of weapon guides for some of the best weapons in the beta, and it really wasn't difficult to kit them out and just basically make it so you could beam any enemy like up to 100 plus meters away. So it sounds like, I don't exactly know how they're going to do it here. It says general pass on recoil and tap fire characteristics. So does that mean they're adding spread to the game or increasing spread? That isn't really clear here. Also, really good to hear that they are cleaning up the problem with the shotgun. Anybody who used that shotgun will know that it was absolutely disgusting. It was just way too overpowered. So more pellets required now per kill. So that's good. Then we've got movement. So movement mechanics have been adjusted to create a more balanced and traditional battlefield experience. Momentum, especially horizontal speed, carried from a slide into a jump has been reduced. There is now a greater penalty for consecutive jumps, which lowers jump height when jumps are spammed. So that's to counter bunny hopping there. Firing while jumping or sliding will result in increased inaccuracy. These changes are designed to make sliding and jumping more situational, so they are no longer ideal options for engaging in gunfights, and will contribute to a gameplay pace that rewards skillful movement without becoming too fast or unpredictable. Parachute physics have also been retuned with reduced initial acceleration when opening the parachute for more controlled aerial movement. Okay, I'm not sure I fully agree with these changes. The parachute, yes, absolutely, no-brainer, but everything else really noted here. I don't know how you guys feel, and by all means, leave me your comments down below, but I didn't really have a problem with any of the movement. I didn't feel as though people were sliding around corners and gunning me down, or I didn't see any bunny hopping. I didn't see people jumping around corners and getting me. And most of the time that I use these methods, let's call it myself, it usually just ended up in me dying. I felt like there was significant sway and bob to my reticle when I jumped. Sliding is something that was effective, but it was effective at getting you into cover. It wasn't effective at, sliding around a corner to take out an enemy. I would say it was more of a defensive ability than an offensive one. So I kind of think that it wasn't really broken to begin with. For whatever reason here, they've decided to change that. I don't know what feedback they were really listening to, whether it was like, maybe they've gotten it from like lots of different places online, but I saw a lot of this over on Reddit. And I don't know, I'd love to hear your guys' take on this. Like, did you have a problem with the movement? Are you happy they've done this? Let me know down below. Then we've got the maps here. So they say, we observe some players finding a way to reach rooftops and venture out of bounds. This gameplay is not intended for these maps, and the upcoming ladder for the Assault class is also not designed to access these areas. We are actively working on adjustments to prevent unintended access and ensure gameplay stays within the intended boundaries. We also heard strong feedback from players excited by the larger scale maps that Battlefield has to offer. While the open beta features smaller, more fast-paced maps, larger scale maps are already part of our launch package, delivering action-packed gameplay and memorable, unique moments for every player. As part of the upcoming Battlefield Labs testing, we'll be testing 2 new multiplayer maps, one set in Mirak Valley, that is the largest one, and the other a remake of the fan favourite from Battlefield 3, Operation Firestorm. These 2 maps include the full complement of vehicles like Liberation Peak, along with a more vast combat space. Now that is interesting. A bit of a bummer, I think, for anybody who's not in labs. And by the way, as soon as they do open up the sign up for labs, I will do my best to let you guys know about that. But yes, that makes me wonder if they're going to maybe like open up the NDA for labs or something and allow people to show that gameplay in order to convey, oh, look at these maps, guys, they are much bigger. Or on the other hand, maybe they want to keep it on the wraps so that, you know, on the release of the game, we do have something new to experience, right? I think that could also make sense. But, you know, also here, good to hear that they're fixing, like, the rooftops on the Cairo map. Of course, once that exploit got out, it completely broke the game for the range of the beta, and that kind of sucked, didn't it? Kind of ruined the map there, so that's good news. Then on modes here, it says, when it comes to Rush, the conversation we observed wasn't just about player count, but also about how maps play and the tactical experience they offer. Rush is a mode with deep roots, originally known as Gold Rush in Bad Company, where matches typically range from 12v12 to 16v16. Many of you remember this as the golden era of Rush, and it continues to inspire our approach today. We've experimented with larger player counts over the years, such as 64 and even 128 player versions, and while these matches created intense, fast-paced moments, they also led to issues: overwhelming defenses, stalled front lines, and too many games ending in the first sector. Rush is especially sensitive to higher player counts due to its tactical and strategic requirements. When a player tries to arm the MCOM while more than 20 opponents are defending, the intended gameplay becomes less tangible. Based on feedback throughout recent titles, we are lowering the default player count for Rush to improve the flow of combat and restore the tactical, methodical experience that defines the mode. For those who enjoy large-scale Rush, Portal will allow you to experiment with different player counts at launch. So I actually really like that they're sticking to their guns on this one. I personally found the 24 player size of Rush really, really good. You know, I think what was the older Rush basically became like Breakthrough, right? You've got 48 players in Breakthrough. If we had 48 players in Rush as well, wouldn't Rush just kind of be Breakthrough, but with like a couple of objectives that you can arm? Like, imagine 48 players all staying on one MCOM. I didn't find that the action with 12 players on the enemy team was too little. You know, by and large, there was a lot going on. Plenty of people to kill, like instant respawning almost. It was a really kind of chaotic, crazy mode just with 12 players on either team. So I'm actually really happy with the game mode so far. I think it's found a decent place within all the other game modes, and I'm happy to hear that it's going to stay there. So on to Breakthrough. In contrast, Breakthrough is designed to accommodate higher player counts of up to 64 players, and that's where the mode really shines. Using win-loss data from the open beta, we are continuing to make map-by-map balance adjustments towards our goal of 50-50 win ratio for both attackers and defenders. Okay. The approach to player counts. There was some confusion around the number of players in different games, so we wanted to take a moment to clarify our current direction for how these get determined. Rather than locking maps and modes to a fixed player count, our philosophy is to adapt to best fit the intended experience. This may vary by map or evolve over time with player feedback. For example, at launch, some Breakthrough layouts will support 48 players, while others will have 64. Oh, okay, interesting. It's the one of many factors we adjust to create the right balance and feel for each scenario. In Breakthrough, higher player counts will work well on open, dynamic maps, while smaller player groups offer a more focused experience on denser maps. Portal gives players the flexibility to try different settings and find what works best for their group and playstyle. Finding the right balance is an ongoing process as everyone gets familiar with map sizes, lanes, and combat spaces. For now, we found that 8 versus 8 provides a solid starting point for small-scale, fast-paced modes like Team Deathmatch, Squad Deathmatch, Domination, and King of the Hill. Yeah, I have to say that I agree with them here, to be fair, but I didn't find all of these modes like, they're not something I'm going to spend any amount of time playing. You know, for me, Battlefield is these larger modes. I think the smallest I would go for is 12 versus 12 Rush, King of the Hill, Squad Deathmatch, Domination. It might be something that we look into for like leveling up a weapon or just as a bit of arcadey fun, but I don't really see players playing that a ton. It does feel a little bit like they're trying to cater to maybe people coming from Call of Duty or games where they're used to these smaller scales of players, you know, these arena shooters and whatnot. But yeah, you know, I'm not against it as long as it's not taking anything away from the game. Then I think it's fine. I'm just saying I personally won't really play them too much. Okay, then we have playlist options. Okay, this is going to be about open and closed weapons, right? A limited variety of playlist options were created for the open beta to both showcase and test the flexibility of the matchmaking system. For more details on our playlist adjustments, see our post about Open Beta Week 2 playlist options. Playing with both open and closed weapons will continue to be options in Battlefield 6, and we are looking for ways to keep them easily accessible. We recognize that some players experience difficulty finding games to complete the challenge of capturing sectors in Breakthrough or Rush. It wasn't ideal, and we are actively using your feedback and in-game data to review and improve the matchmaking system with the goal of providing a smoother experience in the future. So I definitely found this, by the way. I'm sure you guys did as well. One of the objectives for the weekly challenge to unlock one of the cosmetics here was to get so many sectors captured on Breakthrough or Rush. And once you could select the game mode and do like a matchmaking search for that game mode, you couldn't select whether you were on defense or attack. And so if your experience was anything like mine, you got like defend, 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 attack, defend, defend, defend. I was always defending. I had to requeue so many times. And of course, you can't accomplish that challenge while you're defending. So I think that was a little bit of a strange decision to put that one in there in hindsight by DICE, but it sounds like they do recognize that here and they're going to take that feedback into the future. So reflecting on the open beta and next steps, with the insights gathered during the open beta play sessions, we will be introducing in-game adjustments in upcoming Battlefield Labs events. Stay tuned for progress, updates, and future opportunities to get involved. Join our official Battlefield Discord server to talk more Battlefield, share feedback, and find squad mates. Lastly, thanks again for joining the Battlefield 6 open beta. Ow, don't bite me. Cat's biting me down here, guys. Your feedback on participation made it an incredible experience, the Battlefield team. And here we got some stats. So let's take a look at this. Most players in Battlefield beta history, 420 million total matches played, 92 million hours of gameplay. We've got, 5 billion enemies killed, around 30 million friendlies revived. Are those good ratios there? I'm not sure. You guys tell me in the chat. Anybody who shouts at me in the comments and says, "Oh, Ghost, you didn't revive that guy," you let me know. We got 32% played Assault. No surprises there. I've heard a lot of people actually saying that Assault class is like underpowered or it's not worth... Do you mind? It's not worth playing. And enjoy the cat. I've actually thought that Assault is one of the better classes in the game. I felt like it was really, really good. No surprise here that Support is in second place with 26%, then Engineer, and then Recon. I will say, though, these three, I think they're all like... The deployment rate per class has been pretty decent. Of course, people want to try out all the different classes, so it's maybe not indicative of the total balance of the game. But yeah. And then over here we've got, bunch of road kills, 5 million road kills, 9 million tanks destroyed by engineers, 9 million helicopters destroyed, which was incredibly easy because the helicopters need a lot of work. 3.5 million jets destroyed, 337 million kills with shotguns. Oh god, DICE, why do we have to highlight that one? And then 7.5 defib kills as well. And I'm not even going to try and tell you guys what number this is. A lot of damage. A lot of damage. Is that 200 trillion damage in dollars? I don't know. Anywho, interesting stats there. Even more interesting feedback. It does surprise me that they didn't touch on any of well, the main feedback points, I would say, which were also things like how terrible vehicles are at the moment. Vehicles need a lot of work. I have a video on that. I'll link it up in the corner if you guys, the wrong corner, that corner maybe, if you guys are interested in that one there, but they just need an absolute ton of work done on them. We saw nothing about the player sling for the assault class. You know, a lot of people have been calling for that to be removed. We've seen nothing about double launchers for engineers. And if you watched my video earlier today, you can see from this new Battlefield Labs build that apparently has gone out to China that the double launchers for engineer is still in the game. You can still take a launcher and a stinger. So that is like, again, something that's majorly broken. So I would have liked to hear them, you know, talk about that a little bit. Some of the things they did mention, though, make a lot of sense. I pretty much agree with all the things they are going to act on, maybe with the exception of the movement. I kind of feel like that's all sort of unnecessary. I feel like the movement in the game is one of the few things that was really dialed in and in a really good spot. But again, what do I know? I'm just one guy, so let me know, guys, what do you think down below in the comments? Leaving a like on the video is also massively appreciated if you guys enjoyed this one. Don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with everything Battlefield. And yeah, I will see you guys next time.